I just got off a call with my coach and this community of people that are working with our coach and the coaching group that we're part of. And we're sitting there having this conversation, and the gentleman, his name's Amar, awesome guy, amazing guy. But he's sitting there talking about the situation with one of his friends and this lady that came to their party. And this lady didn't want to have a drink because she is trying to stop drinking, trying to better herself from that perspective because it was affecting her life. And she was so concerned and so worried about what would people think if they knew that she wasn't drinking. Like if her one friend that was there said something to her about, why aren't you drinking? What's going on? Have a drink. And I feel like this happens to a lot of us in our lives, right? We worry about little things, even if we say we don't. For me, I've come full circle of not caring about what other people think, like with these posts and doing these things. But sometimes people have little jabs. One person made a comment, and it wasn't even a negative comment. It was, I saw all your posting. What am I supposed to do with all these postings? I don't know, just watch them or swipe past them. But for some reason in my head, I allowed that to affect me negatively, even though this person didn't probably mean it. I'm a coach. I'm a recruiter. I help people. And sometimes people say things that will get under my skin. And I've done a lot better job of being able to get past that now. But it's not one of those things where it's always easy. This year in 2023, for my recruitment business, which has been open for, the search firm's been open for over 4 years, had an amazing 2022 from a revenue standpoint. But a lot of things changed in 2023. A lot of budgets changed. A lot of companies that I've been working with are not doing as much or whatever, right? And there's these steps that I have to take to get more clients. But even sometimes when you're going through that, I have some awesome clients. And then I have had some that are awesome, but they can't work with me anymore, or they can't spend the money on recruiting at this point for different reasons. But when I start thinking about, are they not working with me because they don't like me or because of these things? And this goes back into my past, right? When I was growing up, I was never a big person into having a lot of friends, like close friends. I had some really good friends, but a lot of it was due to different reasons. Like when I was in college, I had, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 different sets of friends, but that was always tied to going out and partying and drinking. And you start fast forwarding, right? And you realize, I don't want to drink anymore. I don't want to do these things because it's affecting me in a negative way. Not that I was ever addicted to alcohol or an alcoholic, but I just never felt great sleeping in, partying all night, that kind of stuff. And then you just get to that point where you grow up. And when I met my wife, I was living on one side of town, she was living on the other side of town. So where I grew up, all my friends were, a lot of my friends that I would quote unquote party with. And a lot of them I'm still like social media friends with, but I'm not close with anymore because I moved from one side of the state, or not the state, but the city, to the other side of the city. 45 to an hour drive, minute drive difference. And obviously growing up and getting older and starting a career and starting a family, and these things all come into play. You have to transition, right? I'm not the same person I was 20 years ago, way different. But a lot of the things that I brought into my adulthood came from when I was younger. And people have to adjust. And that's some of the things that I'm dealing with and I've dealt with. And so what's interesting is, going back to that story, is this person was so scared and was thinking about leaving this party, right? Sometimes I think we do that in our daily life. I want to go after this business, right? I want to go after losing weight. I want to go after going to the gym, whatever it is, or reading, or spending more time with the kids, but something happens that you're so scared about, that, or you're worried that this is going to happen, or you're not going to be good enough at this, or whatever. And that's BS. You can be good enough at that. You are good enough. And I think it's just creating those habits to be able to go and do those things. Right now, I'm about to go into the gym. I've had to adjust my schedule a little bit because of some different situations, but am I making excuses? Am I just not doing the things that I need to do because of those things that I've had from my past and not allowing that to develop? Yeah, probably. I think we all do that. Or we get so adjusted to the negativity or not putting in the extra effort that why should I? Why should I do those things? What I do know is when I put the effort in, when I am present in my day-to-day, and I mean present, like putting the effort in, putting the time in, it may not appear initially, or it may not appear right away, but everything's just goes right at that point. Things happen for a reason if I put the effort and the time in. If I go through that process and develop myself and say, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to eat healthy, I'm going to do these things, or with the business, right? I'm going to reach out, especially with business development for let's say the search firm, right? I'm reaching out to people, I'm reaching out to businesses, I'm reaching out to people that work at these businesses. And when I do that, my mantras and my ideals and my faith and the things that are important to me come out. And I'm able to really help people with what I can do, what my services are. But sometimes I get worried. I have to create these things that I need to do to be successful because I own my own business. I own my own coaching business, and I own my own search firm. And if I don't do those things, then I don't succeed. I will fall back into things, self-limiting beliefs, things that I can't push forward with. And I feel like the people that I talk to, that I work with, or that I get on the phone with, and they have these ideas of what they want to do, and they're so passionate about it, but then they fall back into their own head of like, I can't do this, or I can't afford this, or I can't stop working at this job because this person has this happening. Or I talked to this one lady and for coaching, and she's in this conundrum of, do I stay in the field that she's in, or does she leave and go into something else? And so during our initial call, we talked about what potentially she could do. What are those things that she could do? And just giving her some thoughts of, can I go this way? Can I go this way? And then I told her with the coaching, we go through that. Where do you want to go, right? What's your, you guys have probably heard of SMART goals, right? But helping that person through there. And that's what I'm working with this other lady as well. I'm going to be starting to work with her, I believe this week. And I'm trying to help her to develop and to get into her career. It's her first time after graduating college that she's going to get into her career. And that's what I do. And that's what I'm good at. But sometimes I need to do it for myself. And I've done a really good job of that over the last few years. But there are these beliefs that I still have deep down inside that I'm not good enough, or that I can't do it. But then I go back to, let's create these habits, let's do these things that I need to do on a daily basis. I just think it's interesting when you start to have something or someone put those thoughts into your head and can help you through that and even develop those things, right? And no one cares what you do. You're probably even going to have, and this was mentioned in the call today, but you're probably even going to have people that are close to you say, why are you doing that? And I've talked about this in other videos, but why are you doing that? Like, oh, that's silly, or that's weird, or why would you, oh, you're doing that now? And because this is important to me. And I think when you get away from what's important to you versus doing what you have to do, it can really throw you off. I know that I'm one of the providers of my family, right? Like, I'm the person that tries to lead the family. And not to say that my wife doesn't, because she's an amazing person and she does amazing things with our family and keeps us going from that perspective, but I am part of that team. And so there are things that I have to do to make sure that things are taken care of. But there's other things that I want to go after that I think sometimes get put on the back burner. And I'm not the only one. I think a lot of people do that, but the ones that actually put themselves first will be able to take care of the people that they're trying to protect and they're trying to invest in. And so you have to invest in yourself. I have to invest in myself. And I'm about to go into the gym here in a second, but it's just one of those things where when I don't do those things, I can get into a depressive state pretty quickly. And I have to flip my mindset at that point. When I get into the negativity for too long, or things that I'm not doing to better myself or continue to develop myself, it's just, I go down a rabbit hole of negativity, and I don't want that. I want to be able to stay positive. And I think that's one of the things that is a struggle for me, especially when I go through an all-day period of the struggle of, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this. But what happens if I don't? No one's going to tell me I'm not doing a good job, because it's me. It's my company. It's the things that I do for this daily things. And I'm the one that has to take the responsibility of doing or not doing those things. And this is what's difficult with having your own thing. When you have a job, you have a certain place that you have to go each day. And you have a requirement, I need to be there at this time, I need to do these things, right? You develop these habits based around those things, and you put this effort into the job to keep the job or to excel at the job, right? That's what I have to do with the coaching, and that's what I have to do with the business. And I get in my own head sometimes, or something negative will throw me off for the day. And there's ways that I get back into it. There's music, there's a meditative thing that I do. There's some different things to get myself out of it. But if I allow myself to stew and stay in that negativity, that's a struggle. That's tough to get out of. And I know that sometimes one of the issues that I run into, and I don't know about you guys, but I struggle with, I guess, that fear of success. Or I'm not going to be the best at this no matter what I do, so I'm not going to do it, or that kind of stuff. I'll give you an example. I wanted to be a bodybuilder. That was always my goal and dream when I was younger. I don't want to say dream, but that was something that I was heavily pursuing on, wanting to be a bodybuilder. And the lifting part, I was pretty good at. Still good at it. Still love lifting weights. The dieting part, not good at. Not good at all. I've struggled with food my entire life, and that issue of eating something and getting the dopamine drip from the carbohydrates and things like that, and just overeating, and had that struggle forever. But the reason why I bring that up is because I put the time and the effort in on the one side almost every day. And again, I've been lifting I started lifting in high school, basically. So I'm 43, so almost 30 years I've been lifting weights, and probably 20 of those years I was focused on the bodybuilding side of things and growth and development from that side. But again, I never learned the mental aspect of, I was able to go to the gym, I was able to put the mind-body connection together, but the other side of it from the dieting perspective, just couldn't do it. Still to this day struggle with it. And the reason why I bring that up is I always want to try to get better, but I do fall back into old habits. And I think that's what happens to a lot of people, is they want to do these things, but how do you create these new neural pathways in your brain? How do you develop those things? And it's by creating these new habits, because if you keep sitting in the old habits, it's not going to ever change. It just won't. It doesn't happen, or you fall back into it. I've talked about this in other posts too, but you fall back into the things that you've done over and over and over again that puts you into that state of negativity, or the state of, I can't do this, or the state of, oh my gosh, what am I going to do next? You have to flip that. And all these gurus and all these coaches, that's their whole main thing, but they go through it too. I don't care what coach you see out there. Everyone has these things that go through their head. Now, how quickly can you get out of those things? Just whatever those things are. And it could be, there's so many other things too, right? You have a job, and let's say you don't get that promotion, and then you get frustrated, so you don't put the effort in as much anymore, right? I saw this TikTok where this guy was like talking to his HR person and was saying, well, we noticed that you haven't been putting the effort in that you did the year before. And the guy's like, well, because you guys never gave me a raise, even though I'm the top producer, and things like that. Like, you sabotage yourself that way. And that's obviously satire, and you're listening to it from that perspective of it trying to be funny, but it's real. It's just, when you're going through that, wow, what am I supposed to do? And that's where you have to sit down, reevaluate your life. And that's what I do. That's what I do with myself, and that's what I do with people that I work with. And even like in the recruiting world, when I'm recruiting and I'm reaching out to people, I don't talk necessarily about their skill set right away and their job history. I'm going to understand a little bit about their journey through their career and understand why they've done certain things and what made them decide to do this. And I want to understand their thought process and how they go through things, because ultimately that's going to be able to be something that I can talk to the client about and say, hey, this is why this person's looking for this, or this is why this person got into this field. And when I'm able to do that, it gives me a lot better sense from a perspective of two things. One, what that person's all about, but also that person feels really comfortable with moving forward with us. And that's the same thing that I have to do for my coaching clients and these other people that I'm working with. Because, and again, going back to myself, right, is trying to help myself and be better for myself and provide that situation for my family. Because when I am not on, I am not on. I am not part of the things that I need to be doing. And it's a struggle sometimes, because the people that you care about the most are the ones that you see struggling or you see excelling, and you want to be part of that and you want to help them through that, right? And it doesn't always work that way, because I can't control them. So I have to work through my own stuff and the things that I'm dealing with to continue to be better. Just having that conversation this morning, listening to Amar and going through that, really starts to put on, am I putting the effort in? Am I really doing the things that I need to be doing? Am I distracting myself because I say I want to do this one thing, but TikTok comes up, or social media comes up, or a phone call that I don't need to be on comes up, just to distract myself, or a website or whatever, right? Like, I love cars, so like going and looking at new cars and things that I want to buy and things like that. Like, it just happens. And I'm not saying I'm right or wrong. I'm just saying that I think everyone has this happen, or can have this happen. And there are times where I can lock in and have no issues going through that process, but there's other times where it's a struggle. And so all I know is that you're going to have these things that occur in your life, and they can be little things, they can be big things, but they all shape how you're going to be going through the world and how you're going to show up. And if you can continue to develop those things and be better and listen to those little things that pop up, you can move forward and you can be better. This is just, I know this was a longer video, but I think there's some people out there that struggle with this, and I know I do sometimes. If it's something that you are passionate about, don't worry about what anybody else thinks. Go after it. Get a plan, develop it, and go after it. And don't worry about your own negative thoughts of like, well, I can't do this today because of this, or what if this doesn't work, right? There's going to be things that don't work. You're going to fail. It's going to happen, I promise. But when you get that win, right, celebrate the wins. Celebrate the positivity. Don't dwell in the negative. Be positive. All right, guys. Reach out to me if you have any questions, and you guys have an amazing day. All right, bye.